Hey guys, what's going on?
Hi.
Hello.
It's the first episode of the Kickback Hour.
Kicking it back.
Yep,
For an hour.
yep. So we're just gonna go around and introduce ourselves. Hello, I'm Nnamdi Odazu.
I'm Charlotte Smith.
What's up, guys? I'm Gosnel.
Yeah, and we are just three liberal arts students, just hanging out, kicking back and talking about current events and whatever interests us.
What's poppin'?
What's poppin'?
What is popping? All right, I guess I'll start. So, I just finished the script. It just got a few eyeballs on it, and I got some feedback. And I'm going back to edit and make a few changes, but I do want to shoot it at some point. It'll probably be like later this summer because it's a lot of people like busy with like film, like finals and whatnot, like senior theses. So yeah, like a lot of like final projects and everything. So I'm probably gonna wait until the summer to do that. What else is popping? I saw Annihilation recently. That's a new sci-fi film made by Alex Garland, the same person who directed Ex Machina. It's probably it's really trippy and it's like really out there and really good. Probably one of the best like sci-fi films that I've seen in like recent years. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out soon. What else is popping? My radio show has been going strong. I have a name for it. It's called Groovy Sounds because my handle on social media is Groovy Nam. So I figured, why not just Groovy Sounds because
Groove those sounds.
Yeah,
Groove them.
Yeah, groovy sounds.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine, y'all. It's fine. You know what that's called? It's called banter, and it's good for entertainment.
That's what we do here.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's everything that's popping with me. So what about y'all? What's popping with y'all?
I just finished the show that I was co-directing, Vagina Monologues.
Yay.
It went really well. I think we raised, I don't have a final count yet, but I think we raised like at least $1,000.
Nice. That's awesome.
Because all of the proceeds for it go to House of Ruth, Maryland, and quick shout out to them because they make a huge difference in like the Baltimore community and they help out women and children that are victims of domestic violence and they're just really fantastic. So we love helping them. So the show went really, really well. It was lots of tears, but like that's good. I think people were inspired, which I love. Other than that, I mean that was taking out a good chunk of my time. So I took 2 midterms this week. Thought I was gonna fail them. Pretty sure I didn't. Pretty sure I did pretty well actually. So yeah. What about you? What about you, Gosnel?
So I have been working on projects nonstop, mostly with photography. Finally got a break from them, thank God. My most recent project, I believe, is it's a new series I'm starting called Spectrum, where I photograph LGBT people and LGBT couples, just to show that spectrum, quote unquote, to the masses. And the first round went pretty well. We got a couple gels out and got some fun colored lights, so that's on my Instagram. And after that, I got to work with a professional model for the first time in my class, so that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
So those photos are up on my Instagram as well. And now I'm just working on these 2 really big projects that are coming up very soon. Working on an exhibition, and I'm also working on one final photo project. So that's pretty much all that's popping with me. Yeah, and I'm gonna get some sleep this week because it's finally spring break, and I need the sleep desperately.
We all need the sleep. That good sleep.
That good.
Yes.
That is, in fact, what's poppin'.
Keep it spicy.
All right, let's kick back and talk about being an artist and a minority.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, obviously we have three different perspectives here. We have being a black creative, being a black and queer creative. We have being a woman,
a queer, and
a black guy
walk into a recording session.
And this is what happened.
And we haven't figured out the punchline yet. We'll see.
We'll get to it. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, who wants to start? About like anything, like the personal experiences of being an artist and being a minority.
Oof.
Well, this didn't really. It wasn't really because I was a minority. It was just like something that happened. But like you guys know, I take photos and things, and there. Usually, I let other people repost my photography because it's like a picture of them. And I'm fine with that, but it's when somebody edited my photo, and I guess they like bumped up the exposure and changed the colors or whatever. But I didn't appreciate that at all. It's almost like if I took your painting and like painted over it with like a different color. It's not something that you do to something that like I put time into that and effort and stuff, and to just kind of like write over it when it was just like a slap in the face.
Oh no, yeah, that's what you don't do. Like always remember, like, and I mean, like, yeah, I guess this is like a PSA. Like, if you have, first and foremost, support your artist friends.
Yeah.
Like, don't ask for freebies or like handouts. Like, they are struggling artists. So like if they have a music show that you're trying to go to, if they have a photo shoot, it's one thing if it's like an open studio session, but like if you're like trying to get like a legit like product from them, they have rates, they have charges, they are trying to, this is what they're doing for a living. So always remember to support your friends, no matter what. Give them credit when you repost items on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
yeah, especially when I do free shoots, I always ask people to, credit me because, all exposure is good. Well, no, let me not say that. Exposure is good. Good exposure is good.
Right.
And if, I always figured if I am giving you these photos for free, the least you could do is mention that I took those photos.
And, don't throw a really shitty Instagram filter over it.
Yes, for the love of God, leave Valencia back on Instagram.
Right.
Because, Photoshop and Lightroom and Capture One and all those other programs, those things cost money, people. And we spend the money to make these photos very pretty. I'm talking about a lot of photography. But, there's effort and time and money that goes into these things because these are our jobs, our lives, You wouldn't, like, walk into I don't know, like Chick-fil-A and just like take the sandwich out from the back,
Well,
right.
Well, okay, that was a bad example.
But yes, I understand.
Essentially, it's the same thing. Don't you're stealing. You're not. Well, yeah, you're stealing.
Right.
Don't steal.
Yeah, don't steal from artists. Always give artists credit. So who's next? Who wants to?
I've got some opinions.
Uh-oh.
I mean, when don't I? But
right.
Honestly, we all have.
We all have opinions.
Okay, so me personally, I dabble in a lot of the arts. I'm mainly a writer, but I've done theater my whole life. I also do some photography, not as well as Gosnel, but
You give me too much credit.
I do digital art as well. I work on films sometimes, so I've been here and there and around the block. I don't know if that means you're a prostitute. That's not what I meant.
Jack of all trades.
A jack of all trades. But yeah, so being a woman in the arts can be an interesting experience. Actually, being a woman in a lot of fields can be an interesting experience.
Being a woman or a minority, period, is an interesting experience.
It's something. One of the main ones I've found though is like being a woman in film kind of sucks a lot. I think that's one of the most male-dominated art fields, and just even in a college setting, so many of my friends have been sexually harassed on film sets. Oh my god, like, and it's not just like the weird extra guy. Like, it's by directors and DPs and, like, I mean, I'm not talking about anything specific here, but it's just like so many girls are just like feel uncomfortable on sets because of it, and it's like you should be able to go and do your job or act whatever you're doing without people making comments about your body. And you know, you're there to work as well, and you're there to make a product. And filmmaking is a very collaborative art, so when you feel like you can't trust your team members, that's scary and that sucks. Definitely. And your product's gonna suffer because of that.
Yeah.
Because not only is it creepy, but it's unprofessional, you know?
Yeah, it is unprofessional. And I'm really thankful for the Me Too movement. And
yeah, for real.
Absolutely.
For everyone that's been behind that and has spoken up, because it's not easy. And I'm hoping we finally have some change with that.
Because, you know, the thing about it is that, you know, so many women, you know, get caught in that situation, that scenario, and, you know, it's a lot of fear involved, because, you know, you don't know how, like, you know, the other person is gonna like react, or like what they're gonna do. Like, that's like they're like, it's fear for their lives. And it's like when they get put in that, and not just that, but like fear of them losing their jobs.
Right, it's fear for your safety,
exactly,
but also for your career.
Exactly.
Like, just look at Rose McGowan. I mean, who's not the best, but that's, you know, another thing. But still, like, she kind of lost everything because she spoke out, and that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks a lot. And in writing, it can kind of suck to be a woman too sometimes, because I feel like everything you write is immediately written off as like chick lit, just because, you know, you're a chick.
I think that goes in like multiple
Ooh.
We got caught with the feds. The feds watching.
I think that goes in like multiple facets, because I was talking about this the other day. There's one of my favorite photographers ever, Rakeem Cunningham. He did an exhibition, and it was titled "White Artists Don't Have to Make Art About Racial Identity." And I thought that was so true, because, you know, as a black artist, or as a queer artist, or as a woman, we're put into these boxes that say like, oh, we're making this piece about being a woman. Like, that's the struggle of, you know, being a woman or whatever. And like, sometimes it's just not like that. Sometimes people make art just to, you know, mess with colors, or like see how light plays on fabric or something. It's not always like, this is the black struggle, you know?
People are multifaceted, you know?
Exactly.
We don't have one story to tell. We don't have one perspective to share.
You know, yeah, and that goes into, you know, I guess I can, you know, go into talking about, you know, being a black creative today, because, you know, and I've had, you know, several discussions with Gosnel, with Marcus and Josiah. Shout out Marcus Ellison and Josiah Bradley. I've had discussions with some professors. Shout out to Kalima Young. About this. We may be going, we're going through, I guess you can call it a black renaissance, because, you know, like we have like a lot more prominent black artists being pushed to the forefront and getting the spotlight. You know, black creatives like Issa Rae, Donald Glover, Ava DuVernay, Ryan Coogler,
Amy Sherrill, Kende Wiley.
Right. Yeah. Jordan Peele. You know, like, it's a lot more black creatives being pushed to the forefront, and more so like they're telling different types of stories. They're not telling the same story over and over again, because, you know, I said it before and I'll say it again. You know, like two black creatives can't walk. There was a time where like two black creatives couldn't walk into a boardroom, and like suggest a movie like Swiss Army Man. You know, like, they're gonna be like, okay, but does this corpse go about struggle? Was he a victim of police brutality? Or like, do they learn something in the end? Or, you know, like, they gotta be these figures. They gotta be these big, you know. For a while, it seemed like Hollywood viewed black people as sort of
walking sets of traits and stereotypes whereas white people can just make whatever they want and it's not a talking point. With us it has to be this big it has to be this big hook, like, oh, they're the first person to do this, or they were a victim of police brutality. And while it is important to shine light on those issues, why can't black people make weird, quirky stories like our white counterparts? You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't we make our Louis? Why can't we make our Swiss Army Mans? Why can't we make our Scott Pilgrim versus the Worlds? Like, sometimes
I just want to pour some goop on somebody's head and call it art.
Right.
Let me do that.
Exactly.
And don't call it the black struggle.
Right. Yeah, like, we want to have fun and be quirky too, just as much as you do. Like, we have, like, black people have weird, like, idiosyncrasies just like everybody else that, we want to explore.
People are fucking weird as fuck. Did y'all see that music video with Kendrick Lamar sitting in a tree eating a corn cob?
Yes.
That
was amazing because...
What song was that?
That was King's Dead.
King's Dead.
Yeah. All right, so look.
This man was up in a fucking tree.
Exactly. All right, so like, I can describe it for you. It's like...
Paint us a word picture.
So literally, like, I saw this one tweet on Twitter, and it was like, the caption was like, this is literally the most, like, the blackest, most West Coast image I have seen ever. It is Kendrick Lamar sitting in a whole ass palm tree, like eating like fried cream corn or whatever, like in a palm tree. Like, what the...
And I think that was like the first shot of the...
That's the first shot of the video.
It's not like they led you into like Kendrick's being weird. No, they just they did like an office Zoom.
We need more of that.
Right.
Yes.
We need...
Absolutely.
And
it's entertaining, first of all.
Yeah, like shout out to Kendrick, like shout out to Dave Free and the Little Homies for just like, yeah, that is the name.
Is that a band?
No, like that's the name of like Kendrick's crew for like music videos. Like that's their like production
company.
Yeah, production group, I guess.
What's the name again?
Dave Free and the Little Homies.
Oh, like that's literally their name.
Yeah, like it's Dave Free.
I thought you were just being funny.
No, that's
so too.
No, like look at the beginning of every like TDE video. It's like Dave Free and the Little Homies, or like, so I think the director changes from time, but like it's Dave Free and the Little Homies.
Would have some shit like that.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
TDE, like, let me tell you so. TDE is like a modern day like contemporary black art house. Because it's like, if you look at like all their music videos, like you look at like SZA's music videos, then you look at Kendrick's music videos, and you look at like Schoolboy Q's music videos, like they all have their own distinct aesthetic, and it's like it pushes the like they made the music video cool again. Like they are. I'd like to think that TDE is like the OK Go of hip hop almost, because you know how like OK Go like comes out with like crazy music videos all the time.
No,
you don't know.
They're always crazy. Like there'll be like, there was that one where they like knocked down the dominoes and it was like this huge like chain effect.
Yeah.
Of just like, and then there was one where they were like in an airplane. It was like anti-gravity or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. They just like, it's always something wild.
Yeah.
Conceptually.
It's always like an event when like OK Go like comes out with like a new music video, same way that Kendrick is like, yeah, I mean like they're pretty much, TDE is pretty much following in the footsteps of the likes of Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson, just like that whole wave of like when MTV used to be MTV. Remember when MTV used to show actual music videos?
Yeah,
like,
I would always watch them in the morning before going to school.
Yeah.
Now you got Wildin' Out and Teen Mom and
over here aging myself.
Okay, listen, I love MTV reality shows, but like I'll watch Catfish with the best of them. But
I love Catfish, by the way. That is my show.
Don't we all?
I live for Bravo. Bravo shows. Like, if you know me, like Real Housewives of Atlanta is like my go-to. It's so good.
Oh my
wow,
God.
we got off track.
But yeah, like being a black creative, like
organic.
But like I feel like we're in a much better place now, but there's still work to be done because
absolutely.
just from a socio-political standpoint, but also from an artistic standpoint. I think Jordan Peele had a great quote in like a recent publication. He was being interviewed about the Oscars. He basically, it was along the lines of, whenever black people do anything and it gets like noteworthy attention, it's a black achievement. It can never be just an achievement. Like we're not gonna get there until it's just an achievement. And us, producing, creating our Get Outs and our Black Panthers and our Wrinkle in Times, like that is the norm. Like we have like, and not just black people, but just like people of color, like minorities in general. Like we have like different outlets where it's considered the norm. Just like whenever white people do anything, it's not a talking point. So when we get to that point, that's when we've achieved change. We've achieved change. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of and I push this out to our audience. Like if you have an idea or if you want to do anything, like just do it. It's never been
Just do it.
Like it's never been easier to get started on something. We have the tools available. SoundCloud exists. But yeah, like it's never been easier to get started to create art. All you got to do is just talk with friends. If you have an idea, put it down on paper and just talk with friends and just do it. Just create. YouTube exists, SoundCloud exists. There are plenty of like outlets where you can put your art out, and if you put in enough work, you will get noticed by somebody, and
We need more art in the world.
We do.
Always.
Especially right now.
Yeah.
Like, because like I feel like it's we're going through like a 20-year swing where like things come back around. Not just a 20-year swing, but just like in general, just like things are cycling back around. I remember back, we would all like learn about like what happened in the 60s and the 70s about like, art that was created back in the day, during like the civil rights movement or like, Vietnam, when Vietnam was a thing, you had, the summer of 69 or whatever, or like, just like psychedelic movements in general. I feel like that same thing is happening now, where you have more and more artists using their platform to talk about issues and to talk about what's happening in the world.
Right.
Oh yeah.
For example, Black Panther, that is a Marvel, that's an MCU film. That is a Marvel, superhero film. And it's still, Ryan Coogler still found the time to mention things about racism, colonization, Black Americans and their relationship to the overall diaspora, the tensions between Africans and African Americans. He like brought to light all these different topics, and he touched on real life topics that are happening right now, which is rare for a Marvel film, for it to go that deep and that nuanced with.
And look how well it did.
Right.
Like, I think these big movie studios and everyone, they always think, let's do the same old formula. Let's do what we know will sell, what's safe. But like, people want to see stuff that actually makes a point and talks about real issues. Like, I don't know. I think we're living in a time right now where, like, we're all aware this is going to be in textbooks, like, crazy, unprecedented shit is happening. Like, so turn that into art.
Right.
It's... What else can we do but sit back and watch the world burn?
Make it. Go there. Make it right now. Go open that notebook. Start writing your ideas down. Go open, what do people use? FL Studio, Logic, or GarageBand, whatever the hell you got. Put in that beat. Pick up that camera. Even if it's your iPhone, you can look. iPhone 8 has like a beautiful ass camera. It's probably better than mine right now.
Right.
So if you want to get into photography, don't let those like old folks be like, oh, don't use iPhones. You're not gonna learn. Pick up the iPhone and fucking do it.
Yeah, you can learn composition from that. You can learn about lighting. Like, it's a start. It is something.
Exactly.
And I know we're talking about, being a minority in the arts and, like, all the shit that goes along with that and how it's difficult. But I think we also have an advantage because we have
perspectives that, you know, are important and need to be shared with the world. And I really do think that struggle makes good art. So
Absolutely. And we share a story that isn't normally told.
Right.
And it's not because it's new, it's just because it's not seen. So if you happen to rise in fame, people will see a perspective that's not normally seen, and that will, bring out certain, groups of people. It'll bring people together, and it'll give a much better audience of things. People will enjoy it more, and, you're just going to be fucking amazing. Because you already are amazing. You just got to tell everybody else you're amazing.
That's beautiful.
Go you. Whoever's listening, go you. In terms of representation, we're like 30% of the way there. I'd say, because we still have women who are seen as weak without their male counterparts. Women who seem to only have male counterparts. We have LGBT people that we have a very huge spectrum of the LGBT community, and I'm only seeing about 0.3% of it in the media. I see that we're finally getting like people of color on there, but we're still seeing like the same body type. We're still seeing the same age. We're still seeing like the same, caliber of people.
Show me some disabilities. Show me some mental illness. Show me
a Muslim gay, because they exist.
Yeah.
Show me, a Jewish lesbian woman, a Jewish bisexual woman,
and that's already a good show plot. You
Exactly.
you already got so much right there to work with.
Exactly, because nobody's ever heard of a Jewish bisexual woman.
We are tired of the same heterosexual plots with white people.
That's
listen, I am a heterosexual woman that is white, and I'm so fucking sick of these plots. I'm sorry, Jennifer Aniston, but stop making rom-coms. Sorry, I don't mean to call her out. That was the first rom-com actress that came to mind.
It's okay, Jennifer. You'll be alright.
Also, it's important. I just want to throw out two things. It's important that you do take note that there people come from all different walks of life, and it's very important that you put characters and such on the screen. So because when a kid say a young kid who sees black queer character up there being awesome, that's going to mean a lot to that kid growing up, because it's going to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm not that much of an outcast. Maybe I can, I can do whatever I want in this society, and I can do anything that I set my mind to in this society. That's important. Representation matters. For example, I'll never forget the first time I saw advertisements for Hasbro Black Panther toys, and the kids in the ad, they were all of color. It was two black kids, a boy and a girl, and one Asian guy. And they all had Black Panther toys, and they were, they did, it was Marvel's Black Panther. And it was the usual Hasbro, highlighting the little vibranium mask, the light up with the light up effects and everything.
That's so cute.
And I was I'm so jealous of kids of color growing up about to see this film. They're going to feel like they could do.
True,
they can do anything, and I wish I had that growing up.
Did you guys have any characters growing up that really inspired you, that you were like, oh my gosh, that reminds me of me? Did that ever happen for you, or do you have specific examples?
You go first. I'm gonna think.
I had a number of characters. So one, I got to shout out Static Shock. Static Shock was a huge show in my childhood. Up to that point, I haven't really seen a lot of black superheroes on TV, and so when I started to watch Kids WB on weekends, I would catch Static Shock, and and this is before Static Shock came first before I got hip to the other shows Justice League Unlimited, where they had the Black Green Lantern there, where they had But, like black, like major, like superheroes, and like that was obviously Static is DC. This was like pre like Marvel when I really got into superheroes when Marvel became really big in like media. But Static Shock was a huge character. I remember watching Our Friend Martin when I was a kid. That animated movie, My Miles. Miles, like the kid that would like go back in time and like, you remember that?
No.
Do you? No, it was.
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard
like
of
this.
that either.
Okay, so it was
He's
like.
making it up.
No, I'm not. I swear to like, it's this actual film that we would watch.
If this exists, please let us know so that we know Nnamdi is not lying.
I'm not lying. Like, it's. I think they had LeVar Burton doing the voice of Martin Luther King. It was like this like half-hour animated feature.
Wait, okay, so they went back in time. Did they meet Martin Luther King?
Yes, they met Martin Luther King.
Okay, that
and it
sounds
was like
pretty awesome.
At different points in his life. And so like it was, they went to this museum and like I think it was like his watch. And like they touch Martin Luther King's watch and like they go back in time.
Now that's a good plot with representation.
Ooh.
And they meet Martin Luther King. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, and it's like, and they like highlight, different parts of his life, from like his early years to when he first became a pastor to when, he did the big marches to like, even like leading up to like his death. Like they literally have like this whole like dramatic scene where like they're trying to convince Martin to come back with them, like before Martin steps out to the balcony where he gets shot.
Oh my god!
And like,
but actually, I wish they'd succeeded. We need him.
I need to see this.
No,
Can we watch this?
I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Like growing up, you didn't see this movie.
Where was it like a TV movie?
You know what? Maybe if I saw it,
I'm gonna look up. Somebody else talk because I'm gonna look up it right now.
This is such a dumb answer, but number 5 from Kids Next
Yes,
Door
number 5
was a constant inspiration of mine.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be as cool as number 5. I don't care if she's like, a girl or whatever. I was just like, this girl's freaking awesome. Like,
yep.
She always had her shit together. She always had like the flies, because they were like flipping and shit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then she would always like talk in like third person. She'd be like, number 5 can't do that. Number 5 needs beauty like.
Right.
I was like, fucking goals.
Do you remember this?
No.
What? You never seen this movie?
Let me see.
No.
Our Friend Martin.
No.
Wow.
I don't recognize
that. Was like early elementary school. Like we saw that it was on VHS.
I watched The Hobbit. Like.
I mean, okay. I remember growing up. Like it was like throughout like elementary school, we would watch that in class and
they'd wheel in that TV
Yes.
and they'd pop it in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man, we are aging ourselves.
we really are.
They really are.
But anyways,
So yeah, I mean, I guess that's everything. We have to. I mean, yeah, being a minority and being an artist can be really tough, but it's really cool because you have that added perspective. So keep on making art.
Go make shit.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, so we're going to get into a segment we like to call the Ain't Shit Award. And it is exactly what it is, People out here, they ain't shit.
They really ain't shit.
So, but it's a special few that exceed, that go to like special like lengths of not being shit. Mm-hmm. So this week in particular, the Ain't Shit Award goes to Miss Tomi Lahren.
Or tomato lasagna.
Yeah.
Or what are some of the other good names? that the
White
internet's
trash.
come for her? Well, that too.
Blonde Nightmare.
Yep.
So like, I feel like offended whenever she comes up in my Twitter feed in general. Mm-hmm. But recently, she also decided that her interests, along with like white supremacy, now include animal abuse.
Okay.
So that's what's new with her.
So she hates minorities and animals.
Yes.
Perfect.
Here's what's funny, and like I saw this on Twitter too. Shout out to whoever tweeted this. If you're listening, like shout out to you for tweeting this out. But like, it was a very valid point. White people barely white people en masse barely gave a fuck about Tomi Lahren's like problematic existence until she started kicking dogs. So that that in itself,
what?
Right, like way more people were upset about because she literally admitted on live TV to like kicking her dog.
right?
And there were way more people, you know, attacking her on Twitter because of that than, you know, saying horrible things about black people or
Just minorities.
any other minorities,
Yeah.
pretty much any humans that exist. No one gave a fuck, but as soon as I mean, don't get me wrong, I love dogs. I want to go save her dog, like, but you're not going to give the same value to other humans? Like, what?
Yeah.
So anyways, that's the first ever recipient of the Ain't Shit Award.
Ain't Shit, yeah.
Congrats, Tomi Lahren.
We're so proud of you.
Yeah.
Feel
You're
free to
just-
put that on your resume, because I know you don't have much to put on it anymore.
Yeah, you know, always remember you ain't shit, and yeah, we hate you, Tomi Lahren. And the heart.
Oh, Lord.
Now, on a more positive note, we have the We Stan Award for the week.
Yeah, so it's not just negativity here at the Kickback Hour. As much as we love spilling tea, we also want to, you know, give credit to those who we stand, who, you know, are generally, you know, unproblematic, and, you know, they're a beacon of light.
They do amazing things.
Exactly. And this week it goes to Miss Lupita Nyong'o.
Yes, Nakia.
Yes.
A
yes.
ray of light in this dark, sad world.
So, basically, we're pretty much giving her this award just for existing. Just for, you know, actually, you know what, guys? You had, I think you brought this up on your feed. She took part in a photo shoot recently.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, she had a couple photos. Let me look up the photographer's name real quick. But essentially, she had these... It was just a set of 4 photos. I think it was for a magazine. But they were, like, these stunningly gorgeous, like, very brightly colored photographs. She had on, like, these fun outfits. I think one had, like, a striped shirt. And, like, the other one, she had on, like, this really cute dress. But it was... I don't know. It was just a fun shoot. And I... As an artist who loves dealing with color, that shoot just it was a beautiful time. Sorry, I'm trying to find the photo.
And she was also so fantastic in Black Panther.
Yeah.
I loved the beginning when she was, you know, helping people escape from, like, what was it, human trafficking, I think, is
It
what
was
they were
like-
kind of insinuating.
Yeah. It was basically
Hold
like...
on, I found it.
Okay.
It's for The Guardian by Eric Madigan.
Ooh,
There
Nice.
we go. So that's
Shout
a
out
photographer.
to him.
Yeah, shout out to Eric Madigan.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
beautiful photos. Really
Definitely.
beautiful.
Yeah. So going back to your point about Black Panther. So like in the beginning, she was taking part in a covert spy mission. She was in Nigeria, and it was like this group of I'm guessing like Boko Haram supporters, and like they had like child slaves with them, and then like she was like undercover, so like she was helping them escape. And that was when before Okoye and T'Challa come in to extract her to bring her back to Wakanda for the king's coronation ceremony. But yeah, Nakia was fantastic in this film. If you ask me, she was probably the one character with the most sound ideology from beginning to end, because you know, you could look at both T'Challa and Killmonger and their views on, you know, how Wakanda should function in like the greater like world stage, and like, you know, T'Challa was more beholden to tradition. Like his dad was all about isolationism, which, I mean, when you look at it from a logistical standpoint, like, you know, if you have a super advanced nation and then the nation surrounding you, they're suffering, they're still, you know, going through poverty and whatnot, and you're not doing a single thing to help, that's a problem. So that's also problematic. But then you have, you know, the extreme Hotep perspective with Killmonger, which is, you know, his plan was, you know, basically let's arm, you know, black people all over the world with weapons so like they can come and like kill their oppressors, which is also wrong because like,
You know, the interesting about that is that like Lupita's character was kind of saying the same thing,
Yeah.
but she wasn't as like destructive about it. If you get my drift.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
she was definitely more like, let's just use what we have to like help other people.
Exactly.
And, like, it was the nice middle ground that
Right.
the two of them, the two men, couldn't seem to find.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying it, but I'm saying it.
Yeah, that was actually a great point that you brought up, Charlotte, and I'm glad that you brought that up because Black Panther, like, it does so much for, representation and just like showing, multifaceted, Black people. We are not just monoliths. We are complex human beings with layers, just like everybody else. And that was actually a great point that you brought up about like male passivity versus male like toxicity. So and like how she was sort of the middle ground, and it was sort of like a nice commentary on how Black women truly are, the backbone of
society.
Society,
Yeah.
like that society,
Yeah.
and just like women in general, just like they're
Shout out to the ladies.
Exactly.
So I guess general we stand award to Lupita,
yeah.
everyone involved in Black Panther,
Mhm.
and the women of the world
Oh, yeah.
this week.
Yep.
Just always remember women out if wherever you're at, you guys are kicking ass and taking names.
Yes.
And like I'm here for it. I'm here for women really stepping up and taking charge and like making their name in like all sorts of different fields, whether it be STEM, whether it be the arts, whether it be in politics. You guys are really changing the world and like really showing the world what you guys are made of. So yeah, shout out to the women.
Keep it spicy.
Keep it spicy. All right, so before y'all leave, does anybody want to plug anything? I'll just give y'all the invitation before I go.
You start with your radio show.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so you can catch me on my radio show. If you download the Radio FX app to your phone and search Towson University, you can listen online to XTSR. And you can tune into other shows scheduled, but you can tune into my show, which is Thursdays from 3 to 4:30. It's a fun time. From time to time, I'll have guests in, and it's just basically me, curating music for an hour and a half. So yeah, that's what I got going on. So
Let's see. Me and Gosnel both have some work up right now on the Lithium website. If
Yeah,
you
dude.
Look up Lithium magazine. Let's see. Our most recent issue was
The February issue, I think the theme was blush.
blush. Thank
Yeah.
you. I couldn't remember. So there is Gosnel's photo shoot that he was talking about earlier.
Oh,
Pronounce that for me.
the Naka'aga.
Yes.
Also, in English, artistic warfare.
Yeah, so he and I are both in editor's picks. That's fun. I wrote a little nonfiction piece about the time that I dated a Republican frat boy. That was a weird time in my life. But I don't know. I think it's an interesting piece.
Definitely.
And
parties.
it sure is. And we also just released the Lithium Winter Edition in print, which you can also buy on the Lithium website. It has another piece by me in it, so I'm really excited to be in print, and it's a really beautiful issue, so definitely check that out if you're into zines. And
Yeah, so, Charlotte already mentioned it. I have some photos up. I have a big project coming up. It's going to take a while before I actually release it. But I'll do a bunch of small projects in between. So if you just follow me on Instagram, you'll get to see some cool stuff. I'm always doing photo shoots, having, little ideas popping up here and there. That's pretty much all that's happening with me. So.
also follow us. We're now on Instagram as the Kickback Hour, and you can email us at kickbackhour@gmail.com if you have any thoughts or opinions or questions or anything to say.
Send us fun stories. We'll read them on air.
We love fun stories.
That should be fun.
Also messy stories.
Messy. We live for messiness.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. Let's see. And then we'll just plug our own accounts real quick.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, follow me on Insta. I'm at Charlotte Smith IRL. And then on Twitter, I'm at Char Smith IRL if you like feminist rants and bad jokes. I have some pretty quality content. What about you guys? Where can they find you?
Y'all can find me on Twitter. I'm at GroovyNam. You can also find me on Instagram. I am at Young Odo. And yeah, I'll plug my Tumblr. I also have a Tumblr. I mean, I don't really post a lot of like personal, like, you know, Tumblr blogs. Like, it's just mainly me like reblogging pictures and gifs that I think are cool. It's mainly aesthetic-y. So yeah, you can follow me. I think the handle is Young Odo, and the Tumblr name is It's a Groove. So that's GROOV. It's a Groove.
That is so on brand. Can I just say?
You know, you gotta stick to your brand.
Groovy Nam.
And what about you, Gosnel?
You can find me on Instagram at Gosnel_M. That's GOSNEL for those who didn't know how to spell it. That is also my Twitter name, Gosnel M. If you know my name, you know my social media. Pretty much all of them. So yeah, look on there for like cool photos and other random shit that's going on in my life.
Yeah, so email us. Tell us what you think. If there's anything you want us to talk about, if you were offended by us, if you're into white supremacy, we'll roast you on air. If you want to comment about that, just kidding.
If you want come fix.
Just kidding. No, thank you so much for listening to our first show. It was a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it spicy.
Keep it spicy.
Spicy.